Kreatos is 3D graph paper. It has toolbars on the edges of the screen and a grid in the middle. Key lights show which modifier keys you're holding down, Shift, Alt, etc. The top bar shows the Kreatos menu, your current location, memory usage, the current system message, how many voxels are in the world, your frame rate, and the current time. The compass shows your current orientation. The left toolbar links to libraries of blocks you can place into your hotbar, icons you can put into those blocks, and a color chooser for painting the floor. The right toolbar has switches to control the interface. The hotbar contains blocks you can place into the world. Tap a number on your keyboard to select that slot in the hotbar. Blocks you pick up from the library or copy from the world will show up here. The currently selected block will rotate. The grid is the floor of the scene. Start by typing the number 2 to select the second number of the hotbar. The box you selected will rotate. Mouse over the grid. The grid square you hover over will highlight. Now hold down the Shift key and click. The number 2 box will appear. Hover over any face of the box. Hold down Shift and click again. Another box will appear on the face that you clicked. Click on the Library button in the left toolbar to open the block library. Click on any block. The block you click will appear in the currently selected item in your hotbar. Place the new block into the grid as before by Shift-click. Mouse over any cube to see help information. Information includes the block type name, its value, the JavaScript type of that value, its position, and its facing, whether north, south, east, or west. Many Kreatos blocks can hold any JavaScript variable value, such as a number, a string of characters, an array, or an object. Blocks that can hold a value include basic, bright, paper, and all of the cubes in the CSS section of the block library. Hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and left-click a cube to edit its value. Enter a value, such as 1, 2, 3 for an array of characters, 10,000 for a basic number, or quote my string unquote for a string. Click the OK button. The block now contains the value that you gave it, and other blocks will be able to detect that value. Tap the Alt key again after the pop-up window is closed, otherwise the Alt key will be stuck and you will see it in the key lights. Delete any cube by holding down the Z key and clicking. Deleting is permanent, so be sure to save often. To copy a cube to the hotbar, first select a hotbar position by typing a number between 1 and 9. Then hold down the C key and click the block. It's now in the position you selected. Similarly, to cut a cube into your hotbar, meaning to remove it from the world as you grab it, hold down the X key and click the block. Now that you have the cube in hand, you can just Shift-click again to put it back. Let's move these bright cubes around the plus cube and give them some values. Click any math cube to run it. This plus cube will take the values to its left and top and add them together into the cube on the right. Hide and show the interface by tapping the tilde key in the upper left of your keyboard underneath the escape key. Move around with the W, A, S, D keys, and look around by tapping or holding down the arrow keys. To look with your mouse, turn on mouselook with the M key, or by right-clicking in empty space. This way, when you move your cursor to the edge of the screen, the view will rotate. Fly up and down with the E and Q keys. If clipping is not turned on, you'll be able to fly below the floor and outside the 32 voxel limit. Tap space to jump. If gravity is off, you will not fall all the way back down. Return to center facing north by clicking the Fly To button in the left toolbar. You can enter a detailed camera position if you wish, but the default position is always center facing north. Turn a cube to face you by pressing the F key. Push a cube with the P key. Paint the floor by Alt-clicking on the floor. You can choose a new color with the Color Swatch button. Delete a floor color by holding down Alt and Z and clicking. Let's draw a letter K to match the Kreatos menu. Click on the Kreatos menu in the top bar to bring up the menu. Save your world anytime by clicking Local Save. This puts a copy of the world into your browser's local storage. Worlds are typically small, on the order of a few kilobytes. Reload your browser window to return to that local copy anytime. Now that you have something to save, here's how to make a backup. Text World lets you load and save the world into a block of text that you can save and share. Click World to Text to get the current world and its settings as a block of text. You can paste that world into a text file to save it, or into an email or any other message to share it quickly. World Info sets world attributes such as name, description, backgrounds, etc. When you load a saved world, these attributes will be restored. Open World loads a pre-configured world from the server. Many demonstration worlds are built in, such as boot and clock. Clear World clears the world of all blocks, backgrounds, floor colors, etc. Let's take a closer look at the tiles in the top bar. Position shows your position in 3D space. The world is 32 by 32 by 32 voxels wide. Look down and mouse over any tile in the hot floor to see its 2D coordinates. By adding a 0 to this address, you will get the position of that tile in 3D. Place a block on the floor and note its position in the cube help. It's the same as the floor location with an added 0. In this case, 12, 13, 20, 0. You can copy the position of any block by holding down the L key for location and clicking. The world starts at 0 at the floor, extending to 32 at the ceiling. This gives you a small but practical space to create demonstrations, games, exhibits, and workrooms. Use the Fly To button or the Gravity button to descend quickly back to Earth. Memory used shows the percentage of memory being used by Kreatos as available RAM. Actual RAM usage is shown above, in this case 16 megabytes. The system message shows the last message shown to the user. To send a message to the user, choose a headline cube from the block library and place it in the world. Alt-click the headline cube and enter a message for the user. Unlike a basic or CSS cube, you do not need to surround this text with quotes, because it's not a JavaScript value. It is understood to be a string. Click Accept when you are done. Click the headline cube to show the message. Note that it flashes on screen briefly and also shows up in the system message box. Voxels shows a count of how many voxels are in the world, as well as a total of all HTML elements currently in the scene. Kreatos can handle a few hundred cubes at a time. This is much lower than Minecraft and WebGL games, which may have millions of cubes. This is because HTML is much more rich, but much more slow than true 3D. FPS shows currently estimated frames per second, as well as a performance estimate measured in milliseconds. Time shows current date and time in a 12-hour format. The left toolbar is the primary palette, similar to any creative application's toolbar. Fly To transitions to a new view. This is described by XYZ, steps, facing, and up and down tilt. Usually it's used to return the view to center facing north. Library brings up the built-in block library. Blocks are categorized based on their functions and attributes. Most of them react when clicked. Built-in blocks are covered in detail in another video. Chisel 2 adds a cube with a connected texture map from the Chisel 2 library. Its graphics were designed for Minecraft, but also work here in CSS. Connected texture maps show a different face when two blocks of the same type are connected. Click any block to update its connections. Chisel 2 is GPL thanks to the Cricut 26, Automatic Maiden, and Pokefen. FontAwesome lets you choose an icon that you can paste into any cube that can hold a value. These icons are grouped by type. The FontAwesome menu is in the left toolbar. Click an icon to get a snippet of HTML. Cut that text. Dismiss the pop-up with OK. And then click X to close the library window. Now find a cube and paste the HTML directly into the cube. The snippet makes sure the icon shows up correctly. The Unicode button gives a Unicode or color emoji icon as text for a cube. It works more or less like the FontAwesome library. If you want to use an icon by itself, put down a sprite cube and select an icon. Now copy the icon itself, not the surrounding HTML. Paste that value into a sprite cube. Sprites can hold images single character icons, or very large pieces of text. The color rectangle pops up a color picker. This will set the current color for painting on the floor. Hold down the Alt key to paint on the floor. To mix colors, paint the floor with one color and then choose another color, and then move the alpha slider to around 50%. Now your new color will be mixed with the original color. Delete a floor tile's color by holding down Alt and Z and clicking. Finally, let's look closely at the options in the right toolbar. Most of these are toggles, meaning that a click will turn them on and another click turns them off again. Cube Help shows a window of help and information text whenever you mouse over a cube. This can be helpful, but also distracting. Click once to turn it off. Many actions in Kreatos have a sound effect, such as running code, jumping, or placing a cube. Turn sounds off with a click. When right-click is enabled, Kreatos can use right-click events. If you want to use right-click for other reasons, such as to open the developer tools, you must turn off right-click capture. Mouselook lets you look around by moving your mouse to the edges of the screen. This can be very useful because it lets your hand stay on the mouse instead of moving to the arrow keys. Turn it on and off by clicking here, or pressing the M key, or with a single right-click if right-click capture is enabled above. Gravity turns simulated gravity on and off. It works within the 32 by 32 by 32 surrounding cube, so if you were outside this cube, you will not fall off into infinite space. Clipping makes you solid, so you cannot walk through solid blocks. If you turn on clipping when you are outside the outer box, it will pull you back in. Tap undo to undo the last change to the world, that is, placing or deleting or changing a block.